Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to On the Level, Thomas van der Zander, Canna Bear, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Mr. Amish, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rod, The Name's Burley, Twad Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, JMels24, Unimento, Iron26, Endless, Goldie McKiernan, Retro Bill, Level Plain Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Mel B. Styles, Hairy Blade, Mobile Mac 777, Rob W., Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Life is Short, Texas Mike, Chow Young Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in the Politics 24/7 Discord server and G+, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
You don't need to challenge that.
Yeah, you do.
Why do you think you need to challenge that?
So you know the truth, so you can figure out who's fucking deceiving you and who's not.
Yeah,
you
I agree
already
with
know
him
that.
to call out
Yeah,
the
and all
bullshit.
of flat Earth is deceiving you.
Maybe.
In what way is
How
it
do
deceiving
you know
us?
all of the flat earthers?
But I know for a fact you
Hollywood,
don't know about the flat Earth yet. I'm trying to figure it out.
Hollywood, hold on. Crystal, in what way is Flat Earth deceiving us?
Well, it's wrong.
That doesn't answer his question.
Well, I don't need to answer his question.
Well, that doesn't answer his question either.
You made a statement that it's deceiving us. In what way
Yeah,
is it deceiving us? How is it deceiving us?
It's giving you false hopes about the world.
Such as what?
That the Earth is flat.
But it is
No
flat.
one has a hope that the Earth is
No,
flat.
it's not.
I observe it.
It's not.
And
no one has a hope that the Earth is flat.
No, sorry, that's not how it works.
Crystal.
All right, literally, we shouldn't
No
talk
one hopes that the Earth is flat.
Crystal,
This
you might
person
be
is
under
paid
some
to be here.
delusional guise that we believe the Earth is flat. We don't believe it's flat. We know it's flat. It's utilized flat. It's measured flat. Everything is
It's not, though.
It's topographically planar. What part of that
I don't know what that
you like?
word means.
It means it's flat with hills and shit.
Oh, okay.
When we say
that
flat,
doesn't work, though. How
when
can
we
it be
say
flat but have a
we
hill?
don't say it's flat as in a billiard table.
How can you lie to our faces and expect us to take you seriously? How about that question?
I don't know.
So how about you just shut the
Crystal,
fuck up?
you have a problem because you believe the Earth is a ball, and so
Yeah, no,
if
I
you
know
believe
it's
the
a
Earth is a
ball.
ball, then you have a logical dilemma with that premise. There in the open chat.
So, Crystal, why do you believe it's a ball? Do you see the curvature when you go outside?
Yeah.
Yep, this one's
Well,
broken.
given the logical dilemma
Lying
that
to
your
your face,
geodesic
dude.
premise
Lying to
is
your
caught
fucking
in,
face.
then you couldn't possibly know that. It's there in the
What do
open
you
chat. I
mean?
tagged you.
I'm sure Crystal
I
lies about it.
can't look at it right now. I'm in zombies.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
And I'm about to die.
I'm about to not give a shit.
Well, your globe is dead, so you might as well
No,
meet your
it's
globe.
not.
But you don't have
Your
to meet your
globe is
globe. You don't
dead.
have to. You could just forsake that doctrine and not be dead with the globe and live with the truth, including the truth about Geodesy. Oh, but I didn't lose connection.
No, you did.
Okay. My phone has me traumatized. I'm just sitting there writing full sway of what I'm trying to say. That rhymed. And then the connection's just going to disconnect. And it's going to leave the screen as it is, like it is connected, giving me a further false impression that I'm connected when I ain't.
False hope, Gregory, just like these ballers.
It's a damn shame.
No, yes, we're rich people. That's what we are.
Who's
Say
we?
again. Say again. You're
You
what
said
people?
ballers.
Ballers.
So you've got no proof of curvature, Crystal.
No, I have plenty of proof.
So
Well, given the logical dilemma that your geodesic premise is inescapably caught in, I think not. It's in the open chat, by the way. I tagged you.
I disagree.
okay, that's
For
fair
what
enough.
reason?
I've got no problem that you disagree. That's cool. So what is the reason why you disagree? Please
Yeah, for what
bring
reason?
forth pictures or some kind of citation or something that you can put to us so we understand why you disagree.
Dude, this thing
I
is not
disagree
gonna.
because I know I'm right.
This thing
I've
is
never been
not gonna
wrong
play
before.
ball, you guys. This thing is literally not even paying attention
Hollywood,
halfway.
Hollywood, cut the shit, dude.
All right,
I do
peace,
feel your
peace.
irritation, but gotta work with what we have at this moment.
Have fun.
So, Crystal, did you see that Geodesy dilemma that I wrote there in the open chat, tagging you? Crystal, my love.
Yes, my dear?
Yeah, you see the spherical geodesy dilemma that I spelled out there in the open chat?
Oh, no, I haven't seen it.
Okay, well, in the meantime, I'll read it to you very quickly. The first horn: if the horizon is only an optical phenomenon, then the horizon isn't the summit of water curve wrapped around the ball. The horizon is only an optical phenomenon, therefore the horizon is not the summit of water curve wrapped around the ball. If you insist on sustaining the premise that the horizon is the summit of water curve wrapped around the ball, then if the horizon is the summit of water curve wrapped around the ball, then we can only see to the horizon. We don't only see to the horizon, we can see beyond the horizon. Therefore, the horizon is not the summit of water curve wrapped around the ball.
Oh, is that
Is
sweet?
that how that works, is it?
Someone dumbed down this black
Concerning
swan.
logical argumentation and observation, measurement, and yeah.
Whoever came up with that's great. That's a dumbed down version of the swan. I love it.
Thank you, Nathan.
Well, guys,
Hi.
Either
Black
one deck.
swan. Can't understand refraction.
Oh, refraction. That's an ad hoc appeal. You haven't found the Earth to be a ball in the first place. I guess I did away with that rather quickly.
Was he appealing to the refraction studies that were done on a flat plane?
If he is, that would be self-defeating. He didn't get that far yet.
Or is he appealing to the super looming that the Rumpus and the Ruhif came up with? That with enough refraction and a powerful enough telescope, on the globetard, you would see the back of your head. They took their globetard and made it unfalsifiable. All they got to do is just say refraction.
If he
Yeah, but they're
did,
appealing
that
to
would be
terrestrial
super ad hoc.
refraction.
It's like,
All you have
why
to
can't
do
you
is say
see the
that you
back?
can't take a flight across Antarctica. I mean, as simple as that, right?
Oh, Nate. What's
It's
this
me,
about
Nate
But
flying
Massey.
in Antarctica?
I'm just saying, you guys are using the same tactics that you disprove the globe. It's kind of interesting
No,
to see.
your
What
Just like
intent.
how we've
tactics?
never seen the ice wall, but we've never taken flights across Antarctica.
What
Quite
tactics?
the argument there.
Nate, what tactics?
No, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about what you're talking about.
Because you can't physically see something, it's disproven.
Wait,
You
hang on,
can't
Nate.
experience
You're
something,
talking
so it's
about
not
us having
true.
some tactics. You seem to be insinuating that we're being hypocritical. What's our hypocrisy?
Did I not make it clear? Because you can't
No,
physically
you
observe
didn't. That's why I'm
something in
asking the
walls.
clarifying
Obviously
questions
not.
to
Is that how that
That's
make
works?
what
why
you're
it's
saying
not.
clear rather than be obscure.
I'm just saying. If it can't
Well, I heard
be,
what you're saying. I'm trying to clarify what you're saying. So, are you insinuating that we're hypocritical in our pattern of argumentation, or what?
sure, let's go with that.
Okay, well, what's your reason for saying that?
I just laid it out for you.
Would you mind clarifying it?
Nate, this is your time to shine.
This is gonna go in circles.
Well, you don't know that necessarily, so let's see if it does or not. Go ahead, you have the floor.
I literally just explained it though with the planes, and then you
Yeah.
guys don't even have pictures of the ice wall. What's going on with that?
Hey Nate, instead
That's
of
not an argument, Nate.
Exactly,
instead of
just like how your
focusing
thing
on,
is an argument too.
how about
It's the
you
same
No.
just
idea.
give
Craig, go ahead.
Nate, just give proof of your globe. How about that? Don't worry about what flat earthers do or don't
Or-
do. Just take you and your globe and post your best proof or evidence.
So we're shifting the direction of this now.
It's
Well,
always been a you.
I'm trying to diffuse this idea that there's a group of people online that you disagree with, that you also don't understand, and it's stopping you from doing what you think they've done, which is disprove the globe. When was the globe proven before you could say they've disproven it? Where was the proof in the first instance? Is it basically, are you going to go down the line like photos from space? Why would they lie?
Point.
Minority opinions are stupid.
Still waiting on the ice wall pictures though.
So when if you do like engage and progress forward in the discourse?
He's asking a question. He's asked it twice. He's asking about ice walls. He just hasn't elaborated on what he wants to know.
Well, he's
What is
obviously claiming that the globe Earth is that the flat Earthers are claiming an ice wall. Yeah. However, the ice wall was actually proposed by the globers. Yeah. It's the globe that talks about ice walls, ice shelves, etc. in Antarctica, not the flat Earthers.
So you're saying the ice wall is not real? There's no ice
No,
wall.
that's not what I said. You didn't listen. The ice
Well,
wall
I'm
claim,
asking you. I'm asking
the
you.
ice wall claim comes from the globe side,
Right.
not from the flat Earth side.
So then, are you then claiming that the ice wall is not real if it's a globed-hard?
This is a red herring from the Black
Well, I
Lagoon.
can't.
Where's your measurements?
No, I'm asking. I'm just asking.
Well,
Okay, can I just
well, me
interject for a
personally,
second?
I would describe it as a shoreline. Yeah, we know that we need a shoreline to contain water. Now, some of that shoreline may be cliffs, mountains, higher. Yeah, some of it may be lower.
Okay, can I
As
just
long as we
interject for
have a
second?
shoreline.
Sorry to interject. Right, there's ice wall.
Is there a glass dome?
Hold on, let's just deal with one thing at a time. Whoever that is, just wait your turn. Okay, so there's a claim of an ice wall, and this idea of an ice wall is injected into the flat Earth narrative so that we can argue all day about speculation about the ice wall itself and what may be beyond it according to flat earthers. But there's a very swift and shrift way of dealing with this. Number one, it's already been aired in a way. We're not making any claims about it, but there are global claims about it. That's the first thing. The second thing is the way we actually expanded the known territories, mapped the known territories, and expanded into the new worlds as they used to be known, was flat. We used navigation structures and systems that were flat to expand out our known territories. So in terms of how the territory expands, which is what anything that's aimed with an ice wall inflection is about, that's about expansion of the territory or containment of the territory. Well, the territory was already expanded in our recent history, and when it was, we did it flat.
So it sounds like a bunch of maybes or could be's.
No,
It sounds like people are uncertain on what they believe in here.
I didn't express any beliefs. I just told you how Earth was expanded in terms of the navigation structures and the known territories into the new worlds. There was no beliefs expressed in what I just detailed.
Right. Well,
I just still talking.
That's why I said maybes and could be's.
Still talking. What I did was put an end to the discussion that was speculative about the ice wall and brought it to a conclusion in terms of how the world was mapped with celestial navigation on flat maps with flat systems and flat charts and the latitude and longitude system, all flat. Well, those systems were what helped us expand the territories into what we now know today and have colonised. Those aren't speculative, those aren't beliefs, those are facts. We did expand the world flat.
Is there a glass dome on top of the Earth?
I don't know what.
Do you have any measurements? Like, what are you doing? If you ain't got any measurements, you shouldn't speak.
I was just asking a question.
Okay, so to answer your question, like with the ice wall, this idea of a dome or glass dome is again inserted into the flat Earth narrative so that we can argue all day about what may or may not be the container to the gas pressure that we're breathing as a straw man, to take you away from the fact that the heliocentric world has a violation of natural law in the form of gas pressure without containment. So a sky vacuum around a blue marble is a violation of that natural law, second law of thermodynamics, because if the sky was a vacuum, the gas we breathe would fill the space. Now, given that heliocentrists think they're travelling to space to take pictures of their blue marble in a sky vacuum violating that natural law, it's the positive assertion from the heliocentrists to prove what their sky is. I don't have any claims about what the sky is. I just know we must be under containment to be breathing gas pressure.
So is that a yes to the glass? Is that a yes to the glass
So,
dome?
Nate, in other words, some people would
whoever
rather not speculate about the celestial bodies and the other cosmographic features of the cosmos.
No, but we got we got to be certain, because, like, let's say I've got some kids. I want to teach my kids the flat Earth model, right? Like what shape it is, how the maps are drawn. Is there or isn't there a glass dome, right?
Did you hear the last thing I said?
They're all flat. What are you talking about?
Twice.
All the
TDA.
models are flat. All the diagrams are flat. You teach them flat. You just don't realize it. And you pretend it's a globe.
No, but I want to change my ways. I'm ignorant.
TDA.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Like I'm very ignorant.
TDA.
Yes.
As per the last two answers, we know due to natural law, we require containment for us to obtain gas pressure to breathe. What that containment is, we do not speculate on. It's not something that we can verify. So we don't know what it is, whether it is a glass dome. We're not going to speculate.
But we know what it isn't.
We know we require containment. Correct.
But we know what it isn't. And what it isn't comes after people who believe they're on a ball claim what it is. So people on a ball claim it's a vacuum. Well, the gas we're breathing would fill the space in line with natural law, so it's definitely not what the heliocentric globe Earth in a vacuum says it is. The sky, that is. They're the ones with the positive claim, not us.
Right. So it's contained, but we have varying temperatures and pressures across this containment somehow. And
So would it be correct then, say, if I Google flat Earth map and a glass dome is in that picture, that's not correct?
Did I claim?
Whoever said the previous thing before TD, are you insinuating?
Sorry, hold on a second. Just let me answer him. Can I just answer him? If I Google,
this doesn't make sense.
I'm just trying to answer the guy when he asked me something about specifically if I Google flat Earth. If I Google what idiots say, will I see your face?
No.
Well, did I claim it? Did I claim it? No, I'm giving him an example. I'm giving him an example. Still in the middle of it. He's just absolutely distraught about it. It seems. No, if I didn't claim it, I'll try a fourth time with you being completely triggered. I'll just try a fourth time with lots of triggered fundy zealots. I see lots of zealots chanting through me while I try and make the fourth attempt. If I didn't bleed and say it, what makes you think typing something into Google will give you what I bleed and think? You complete idiot. Yeah? Do you understand what I've just said to you? Typing something into Google isn't going to tell you what I think. Try and take the words that come out of my mouth to mean what they say. And only that as what I believe, if you want to foist that on me. But just take what I say and nothing else. Don't go and search on Facebook for what I think. So how dare you ask if I Google it, will that be what you think? No, you asked me. You asked me, Mr. Outrage, and I'm telling you. Mr. Outrage got to blurt through the person telling him off for being an idiot. No, you won't find what I've got to say on Google, Dumbo.
I never called you an idiot.
And further to that, TDA, how would you be able to verify that that's what exists in reality?
we wouldn't do like scientific experiments or observation.
You wouldn't know what science was.
Is that hominem attacks?
I get a bare pound.
I
Doesn't know what science is. Let's test him then.
Not you, Nathan.
Okay, let's test him then.
Like I said,
Okay, let's test Mr. High Pitch if he can ever shut up.
Let's
test Mr. High Pitch, who's put something in there about whether or not we should look at science, and now he can't shut up. My reply: you wouldn't know what science is. So you haven't immediately justified and validated that you do. So we'll test that claim I've supposed about you. Whether or not you would.
I haven't made any claims at all.
I haven't
made
finished.
any claims at all.
You just asked us about whether or not we'd use science. I'll just tell you straight away, that's a category error. Now, you don't know that because you don't know what science... You're still talking, Dumbo. You're the dumbest person here and you're talking through me while I correct you. It's a category error, second attempt. Do you want to keep yammering through me while I correct you? Will it make you feel better while I make you look stupid if you talk through me? Look, dumbass, it's a category error. That's why I immediately put money on you not knowing what it meant. Now, you can keep yammering through me correcting you, maybe detailing why it's a category error as you ask us whether or not science would be answering questions about the nature of reality in this regard. They wouldn't. It's a category error. You don't know what science is. Now I'm telling you off. That doesn't mean yammer through every word of me highlighting your stupidity. Now, unless you want to now claim you do know what science is, which is why you were asking for it, if you do it again, we'll qualify exactly how little you know about that word by proving you don't know what it means. Or you can say, oh, I'm sorry I asked for science, didn't really know what that word meant. Or you can go, how dare he say I don't know what science means? And then we'll rip you a new one and show the audience exactly how little you know about that subject.
I like I said before, I never made any claims, right? I'm just answering and asking questions.
Yeah, in category errors. Did you not hear what I just said? Hello?
I haven't made any more.
Is he going to say he didn't make any more claims again? Is he a bleeding stuck record? I heard you the first 3 times. Yeah, you asked a question in a category error. Now, that's the 4th time I've said it to you. Can you not comprehend what I've just said? Do you not understand the words coming out of my bleeding mouth? Do you think you need to tap it into Google? Listen up. Category error. You asked us a question in a category error. How many more bleeding times do you need to hear it? Bloody hell, this guy's thick.
It'd be like asking what smell tastes like.
Yeah.
You're in a category error the moment you mention science when you're talking about the shape of something.
He doesn't understand how to respond because he doesn't understand what science is. So when he asks for it and we say it's a category error, he's like, I'm not making any claims about it, just asking questions. Oh, right. Didn't understand the reply, dum-dum.
Please help me understand. I'm clearly uneducated.
Yeah, we know.
So I'm just asking. I want a map of this flat Earth.
I don't give a. Do you seem to think that we're sat here waiting on your bleeding demands? You want a map?
Okay, you don't.
Okay, shut up. I heard you. Now you can shut your mouth. You want a map?
You know.
Okay, mate. You don't need to stutter through me. I'm giving you what you asked for. You said you want a map, and now you can't shut up. Are you really this stupid? You told me you want a map. I heard you. Does that mean I'll carry on waffling after making my bleeding demands? You want a map? The shops that sell them, dickhead! What kind of idiot comes to a forum on the internet and says he wants a map to someone he's discussing the nature of reality with? Oh, right, we'll go to the shop and buy one then, Dumbo. It'll be flat.
Damn. You're really losing the definition of science.
The problem is when I buy a map and I post it and I say, this is the map I'm using, you guys claim it's false. So I don't know, like, which maps to use.
When did I say that?
Clearly have...
Sorry, why is he... I don't want to talk to this guy anymore.
No,
did Google tell you I said that? I didn't say that. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Don't just carry on after you've charged me something. No, when you say you guys... Oh, right, did I do the next thing that comes out of his mouth? No. I didn't say anything was bunk. I didn't have any map presented to me by you. Don't tell me what I would say. You wonder why I'm getting angry with you? Now you're talking to me, you belligerent little prick. Shut up. What you're doing is unreasonable. The reason you're doing it is because you're stupid. Now, every time you are insulted or feel like you need to feign some sort of exasperation while you get corrected, you open your mic and start talking through the top of me. Yep, I know, I'm used to dealing with thickos. People who blurt category errors into the discussion and then justify that they haven't made claims 3 times. We get it, you're stupid. Yeah? Now you're asking for maps. Yeah, go to the shop and buy one. What? And then you're going to tell me that when I presented you with one, I told you it was... I didn't do anything of the sort, you stupid little man. If you want to come here with straw men that haven't been put to your door and then start telling me what I've said or what I think or what Google might suggest I'd say, I'm going to get pissed with you right quick and just tell you how stupid I see you as. I just see you as someone that needs demeaning because you're stupid. Now, you don't know that. Like most stupid people, they don't realise how bleeding thick they are. So sit down. I'm done with you. Shut your mouth. You're just too stupid to be here and have a discussion. You can't cope with simple answers. You have to repeat that you're not making claims 3 times after having a very simple answer put to you. So this is painful for me. Somebody smarter than you don't want to talk to you because you are stupid. Hope that's clear.
You know you've lost when you resort to attacks.
Sorry, what part of I repeated the same thing to him 3 times that it's a category error? Is it an ad hom to call him stupid after he didn't understand 3 repetitions of the words category error? Did White Knight feel he was mistreated? Does it feel like he's been personally attacked after he offered an argument? That would be an ad hom fallacy. He didn't offer an argument. He even made it clear himself that he wasn't offering any claims. He was only asking questions. So how can it be an ad hom? You don't... Again, what a thicko. The White Knight even...
Like you
White Knight's going to start chanting through me. The little bitch, another retard, doesn't know the words he's using. It wasn't an ad hom, you stupid man.
It's actually global.
Hey, White Knight, is it easier if me pointing out how stupid you were when you said ad hom? Is it easier if you just chant through me? You won't look like a pathetic, idiotic bitch. No, you will. You'll look like a total bitch as you chant through me in pain. No, the more intelligent one in this room's telling you off for using words you didn't understand. It wasn't an ad hom, you stupid man. Your White Knighting attempt to undermine me demeaning him for being stupid won't be undermined by you yammering through me in pain as I point out how stupid you are. Just sit down like the last guy. Dumbo, White Knight Dumbo. Yeah, you're being put in your place, White Knight Dumbo. It's not your turn to talk while you get told off for being stupid also. It was not an ad hom. Chanting through me won't change that. You're just as stupid as he is. Don't understand the words you're using. Me pointing out why it's not an ad hom, i.e. 3 repetitions of it's a category error, therefore stupid, isn't an ad hom. He didn't even offer an argument, therefore not an ad hom. Is chanting through me going to make you look less stupid there, son? No, it's going to make you look like a little bitch that can't take being told off like the rest of you glurf idiots when you're corrected for being dumb, which you are.
Are you done flailing?
So flailing about how dumb you are?
No, I'm very smart.
I'll highlight when people use words they don't understand, like ad hom or science. Now, you can say that's flailing, but I'll concisely detail why I correct the people I do. It's not flailing. Well, isn't this fun? So much fun to be in the Discord server. We're here to make our own know why Earth is measured flat, to give other idiots the belief they're on a globe. Obviously, I'm going to trigger a zealot after several prolonged seconds of silence. Earth's measured flat to get your globe belief. That's why we come here. To strengthen all of the flatties arguments. When you guys tell them they're on a globe, they'll take you to the flat Earth measurements you are using to get there.
Yeah, you need a little more compassion, though. These people are... They've been indoctrinated, Nathan. They think what they call science is science. They have to be re-educated.
Bless, little globers have been deceived. Oh. Suck it up, ladies and gentlemen. Your Earth's measured flat. Those measurements were used to create the globe you thought you were standing on.
Be denied. We all know that, but it's going to take some time for it to finally click. Maybe if John would tell his testimony of how he used to be a baller and he couldn't get measurements for the chair, and now he knows the Earth is flat.
Now that's much better.
Nathan,
Hello.
how are you doing this morning?
Yeah, I'm right. I think I've made half a dozen videos this morning. I'm very pleased with myself. Very productive day. How are you?
I'm well. I have a question. I want your opinion on something.
Okay.
How long would it take to fly across a flat Earth, do you think?
I don't know. You'd have to ask a pilot, I guess.
Well, if you had to guess, what would you say?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fair enough. I love your abusive nature, by the way.
Excuse me?
Pardon me. Are you asking about how long it would take to travel longitudinally or latitudinally?
Either way.
Yeah, you require a flat plane to measure longitude and latitude, so it doesn't matter. It's a flat Earth.
Is it equidistant or no?
Circles of equal elevation are equidistant to their centre point when you measure them with respect to the angles that you get them from. But that's measuring Earth flat.
I was just wondering if this flat plane is if it's equally wide as it is long. Does anyone know?
We know what measurements we have, things like latitude and longitude grid, right? So in terms of what we've measured, we've got what we've got, and we've verified it with positional data with respect to stars. So that positional data that we've got with respect to stars can have a couple of things done with it. One, you can use it to speculate what might be beyond it, like they did 300 years ago or 500 years ago when they expanded out the territories. You start mapping and plotting more and more circles of equal elevation onto maps. Yeah? That's how you expand the territories. And then beyond that, you can take the, circle of equal elevation at the minimum of Polaris, and you can turn that into a globe. That's something else you could do. But all the time that you're doing these measurements, you're measuring Earth and dealing with Earth and processing Earth as a flat plane.
Okay. This may sound like a silly question, but if the Earth is flat, would it be possible to fly past it?
I mean, I didn't catch the second bit, but what I did hear was if the Earth is flat. No, Earth is flat. It's measured flat. So there's no
Okay,
if.
so let's say that it is. Is it possible to fly past the Earth if you kept going in a straight line?
You're formulating your question based on us as if a fact is a supposition. It's not. It's just measured that way. We can't help that. You can't help that. It's just how it is.
Okay, I was just wondering what people's opinions were. I was just wondering if that's the case, if it's possible to just keep going in a straight line and go like past this thing.
Right, you're missing what John's just put to you. So what you're describing as a consequence of the prior statement as an if isn't dependent on that if statement. Furthermore, the if statement, that's if Earth is flat, isn't an if statement. It's measured flat, and what planes do, or just try and hear us out, right? You haven't understood it 3 times. There's no consequence based on whether or not we're dealing with Earth and flying on Earth flat. We do, we must. That's how it's dealt with. But you're now asking a question.
Okay.
It's the 3rd time.
I just wonder where you guys.
I know you just want to talk through the middle of me saying something to you. You're like the other 2 guys, too stupid to close your bleeding mic while I talk and listen to the actual end of the statement that I've made that you've ignored and haven't comprehended 3 times. I'm now making the 4th attempt. I'm going to start getting irritated with you. Do you want to shut your mic and actually listen to what I say? I've made 4 attempts. Is that a no? Is that a no? I'll just keep yammering when I'm explicitly telling him to shut his stupid mouth. He thinks it's, keep your mouth open and answer. Rhetorical, just too stupid to understand a rhetorical question. Okay, I'm done with you. Too thick to communicate with. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You're an intolerable idiot.
So I live in Australia and I can't see the North Star. Why is that?
Because you're beyond the equator.
Yeah, but what's like blocking my vision? On a flat Earth, I should be able to see the same type of sky as most people, right?
Hold on. This
Let
guy.
me guess. You should be
everyone
able to
just calm
see
down a
China.
second. There's a new guy that wants to strawman me about what a flat Earth should do. If you're making claims about what flat Earth should do, have you verified that flat Earth should or shouldn't do this yourself? Or are you just telling me what I should believe based on what you strawman me with? Which is it?
Okay, how much should I see then? Like,
is it just me, or is he carrying on without answering my question about whether or not he's going to strawman me about what he says flat Earth should or shouldn't do based on no research and not doing anything? Or is it the strawman you say I must adhere to? Second time, will he ignore it and just reassert his question again? I'll see in about 10 seconds. We'll find out how dumb he is. Did you hear me? I responded to you,
yes,
you
I
dumbass. Did you hear what my reply was? Paraphrase it back to me, like you actually heard me.
So what you're saying is, I've assumed an incorrect flat Earth, right?
Those friggin' words definitely didn't cross my lips. So you didn't hear what I said. You're too stupid to listen. Okay, I'm done with you
thought that
already.
I was
No, it doesn't mean keep yammering through me. Now, this is where I go. You're too stupid to talk to. You can't listen. That was not what I said. You couldn't paraphrase back to me what I said. I definitely listened to what you said, paraphrased it back, and then responded to it. But you couldn't cope with the words that crossed my lips. Now you can't repeat them. So you're too stupid. You can't listen. So what am I going to do with you? Keep talking at you while you do this? Talk through me? You're now talking through me, making my point abundantly correct. So you're not listening, you're talking while I'm telling you off for not listening. What goes through dickhead idiot brain? I'll talk now. While he's still telling me off about not listening, I'll start talking, admirably demonstrating how unbelievably stupid this man is. Now, I'm now ducking out, going, if you feel the need to continue the conversation, it will be brought to an abrupt halt, because I'm now ducking out and going, no, you're too dumb. Yeah, nobody would want to communicate with someone who literally doesn't listen to a single word that is responded to them with. That's not a reasonable man to talk to. That's an idiot, the village yammering idiot that doesn't listen. Asks the passerby a question, they respond, and he yammers off into la-la land, having not listened to the reply. Yeah, you're the village idiot? Nobody would want to talk to somebody like that, obviously.
Greetings,
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello. It's good to be here. Anybody who's relatively regular in this particular Discord server will know that we're here typically on a Friday. I normally do a little preamble before we go live, but please don't swear, as you probably heard in the introduction. If you do, you'll get removed by one of the moderators, as it is a bit of a family show, or we'd like it to be at the very least. So our endeavours here in the politics server are to let our flat earth counterparts know that in order to live on a ball, as many of the Western world believe they do, you would need to first measure Earth flat. That's why we're here.
So, Nathan, I had a question. You didn't start your show yet, so I think that's what you were doing. But you said that you're doing a meet and greet, whatever it is, at Dorset, at the Bridge House Hotel or whatever. Are Globers welcome? Because I think there might be some Globers in the UK that might want to say hi or
All
ask
are
some
welcome.
questions.
It's a pub.
They're welcome?
Yeah, I did say in the intro, for 5 of your English pounds. That's the only stipulation.
Okay.
No,
It'd
all
be
are
funny
welcome.
if you have
Same as
Mez
here. Same as here. Sorry.
I was gonna say it'd be funny if you had Mez show up and ask you some questions, you know. Some Glober on flat earth action in real life.
Well, they're welcome to. Like they're welcome to here. Like you're welcome to. I mean, it won't be any different to this. How would it be any different?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it'd be more entertaining. I'd be hopefully some Globers do show up. I don't live in the UK, but hopefully some Globers do show up.
Yeah. See, there's a big difference in public. See, if there's a guy on stage giving you a presentation and he invites questions, and then some from the audience won't shut their mouth, do you know what the people who run the hotel and bar do? They remove them. Because that's not civilized. Like talking straight through the middle of somebody that's in the middle of saying something, it's just not civilized. People won't tend to do that in public.
Huh. If they do, will you mute them in real life? You have like big bodyguards kick them off?
No, I'm 6'2" and I can be quite imposing. But typically, unlike with gates and miles of fibre optic cable, when you're actually in somebody's presence and they're literally towering over you while you heckle them, there's a very different feeling about that when you're actually that person with 80 people staring at you as you get heckled by the guy on stage. Now, as that happens, the guy who's doing the heckling might feel the need to just blurt through straight like they would on the internet. But as I say, that's not civilized and won't be tolerated in normal public society, unlike on the internet where you can just do it and nobody will stop you, because what are they going to do? Beyond, running your show and closing lines where people are disturbing your show. I mean, that could be held against me, it seems, but in public, it's just not civilized to just talk straight through somebody that's talking.
What if one of the Globers brings a pair of boxing gloves for you and they challenge you to a boxing match.
And I said no. Do you think that would be then the guy standing in the middle of 80 people clutching a pair of boxing gloves, just looking like a complete wanker, clutching boxing gloves? Would that be that guy? And everyone going, why is that guy over there clutching boxing gloves?
Whoever wins the fight determines the shape of the earth.
The guy holding the
Don't
boxing gloves
underestimate
is just
Nathan.
about to get tackled by security.
Yeah. Again, would
It's
you
called
say that's
geodesic verification by combat.
again just not reasonable behaviour? You know, you go to somebody who's doing a talk on anything, and you walk up to them and hand them a pair of boxing gloves. That's essentially inciting violence, isn't it? Like, that would be criminal, as in you could be arrested for it here in the UK. Did you not know that?
Maybe they're handing
Not
you
maybe.
boxing
I
gloves
was
to
talking
punch
to someone
someone
else.
else.
Was it you I was talking to? Was that
No, you weren't talking to him.
Yeah. So
no, but yeah,
that's-
it would be inciting violence. I'm just saying that'd be a pretty funny hypothetical situation.
So what you're saying to me, Matt, is you think it would be funny to encourage my audience to incite violence, is what you're saying?
No. I'm saying
Here,
it'd be
that's
funny, like if a Glober. I'm just saying it'd be funny if a Glober
Yeah, what I'm
showed
still
up with, like, a
saying is,
fresh pair of boxing
I
gloves.
just needed the no. That's good. So you're not suggesting people endeavour to criminalise themselves at my public event?
No.
Good.
No.
Good.
Hopefully,
I don't know
people
why
bring
you'd suggest
boxing
it then.
gloves.
It seemed that way. You still think that you're going to yammer through me kind of telling you off for doing exactly that, even though you're feigned, no, I wasn't doing exactly what I suggested people should do. No, you were doing that. That just makes you, what's the word? A prick. And here you'd be, in the UK, arrested for that. I wanted to make that explicitly clear that what you're inciting is criminal under the UK law. And I just wanted you to be absolutely aware that what you had suggested was criminal here. Because you thought it would be funny. It's not. You're inciting criminal behaviour. And I just wanted you to be aware of that.
Yeah, again, there's a difference between a descriptive and prescriptive, right? I said it'd be funny if some Globers brought boxing gloves and challenged you to a boxing match. That's all, man.
At a public discussion, yes, and I said that would be criminal, as it would be inciting
Yes,
violence.
you're right.
And now you're yammering through
Yes.
me as I reiterate it for a third time, as you justify it for the second. Yeah, I heard your justification the first and second time, and then I led you to just say, yeah, it doesn't matter, it's not really that, it's not, yeah. And then I absolutely laboured the point for a third time, and now a fourth time. That would be criminal. But that's what you guys are like, you globe believers. You're a globe believer, aren't you, Matt?
No, I believe in the flat Earth.
I doubt that.
Prove it.
So you're also a liar.
And I'm not lying. I
So
believe
when
in the
you've
flat
got the
Earth.
title PhD in Globe, you've just told me you're a flat earther and then laughed. That's a lie, isn't it? You're not a flat earther, are you?
The PhD in globe proving is just a joke. So I say that to Globers, but I'm a flat earther.
So you're just continuing to lie. I don't want to talk to this man anymore. Can one of the server moderators remove the man who's incited criminality and is a absolute, without a doubt, demonstrated liar?
Mooney, you're a mum and you couldn't lie straight in bed. Stay muted.
These people are scum. I just wanted the audience to be aware of what's just happened. That's a Globe believer. And in this country, he'd be thrown in jail for being criminal because that's what he's just incited. He's just literally incited an audience, my audience, to go and behave criminally at my event. That's what he's done. Yeah, that's what Globe believers do. That's what you are. Scum. Yeah, you Globe believers are scum. There's no other word for it. Here, you'd be criminalised for what you do. There's no other words to describe what you are. Criminal scum.
It is, to be fair, it is possible that he just believes it's a flat plane.
Well, it's measured that way.
He actually is a flat earther, John.
But yeah, you can believe it's a flat Earth. I guess that's fine. If you don't want to know why it is.
Any evidence for flat Earth?
Measured that way.
Any at all?
It's measured that
That's
way.
not evidence.
Sorry,
Measurements aren't evidence.
Goodbye, Brenda.
That was someone who.
That was Brenda
sorry,
Lee.
just for the audience's benefit, that person that just asked that question had suggested that I should have my kids removed from me. That's again, just another example of a scumbag backing up another scumbag who's incited criminality. Well, she would suggest that social services should have my children removed. That's what she would do. That's why she's immediately being removed from this discussion. That's how you globe believers behave when we tell you Earth is measured flat. Because it is. Now, is that a belief? No. Is that some religion we're punting on you? No, it's how it's measured for you and us. But because we say it and then don't immediately assume that those flat Earth measurements turn into a globe, we're ridiculed and criminalised and told that we should have our children removed from us.
If I measure the temperature outside, oh, sorry.
I was going to say, is there any Globers here that want to have an actual decent discussion? Because your track record tonight is absolutely horrendous at this point, yeah?
Hey, Nathan, I've just heard you said you had children. Is that correct?
What does that have to do with my last question?
No, I was just that's just a curiosity question. Like, I was just wondering, like, does he have? Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify.
2D8, pull it up. It has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. Sorry, mate.
My question was, TDA, do we have any Globers in here that want to have a decent conversation in relation to the shape of the Earth, not about somebody's children?
It's the dumb guy from the pre-show, isn't it? I say that person was removed for involving my kids in the discussion. I see you got children, have you? What a retard.
You can't be talking, buddy.
But there's the new White Knight. No, that was stupid. Literally, we've just highlighted to a live audience and him that someone was removed for involving my kids in this discussion. His response to that is to bring up my kids, literally in the next breath. That is retarded. Fucker. And now you're going to yammer through that, what? No, it's just you. No, I've given an example of why that would be retarded, held back mentally to do that.
I mean, this is just pathetic.
All I want to, I mean, I'm sorry. I apologize. Right? All I wanted to know.
Don't continue that sentence, please.
Well, I'm just confused about where Brenda was trying to take that measurements are not evidence. I don't even know what to say to that.
I think what she means, John, is the measurements that are used are obviously elevation angle measurements, angle measurements. It's all referring to flat Earth measurements. So in her mind, that can't be true because she has a globe belief.
Well, I mean, if I measured the temperature outside and it was 78 degrees, right? Is that evidence that temperature exists?
It's just a malformed question, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, we've had this before. I think it was in politics, this server, where you either accept that you were going to measure Earth flat, because if you don't, you've got nothing to base your globe belief on, because that's how the globe comes to fruition. Where do you think your globe belief comes from, globe believers? Do you want to give us some measurements? They're flat. Now, the quicker you learn this, the quicker you can deal with your pain.
They don't think about why there's been so many straw men and other things interjected into this conversation for them to latch on to. They just latch on to those things.
Yeah, the dumb ones do. Why have you got an explanation for the ice wall? Well, we expanded the territory flat and navigated it flat on flat maps with flat systems that were derived from flat angle measurements to the stars with respect to a flat plane. But what about the ice wall? Dum-dum. Earth was measured and navigated and expanded flat. What do I need to explain an ice wall for? Because somebody on YouTube in this narrative of flat Earth told you that that's what we believe? Because Google said so. All right, well, that's fascinating.
What is the circumference of the North Pole?
One more time.
What is the circumference of the North Pole?
Circumference of the North Pole?
What?
This is, I'm going. It's a two-question thing, but it should prove flat Earth.
Yeah, it's malformed. It's malformed. A point does not have a circumferential value. The question's
Well, if you
malformed.
the Arctic Circle, it's got to have some type of circumference around how much miles around.
What? Okay. What if we had the value? Let's say I'd looked it up and gave you what the narrative says is the value. What would be your point?
Hypothetically, it should be the same as the southern Arctic circle, right?
Why?
Down in Antarctica.
Why?
Because if you flatten out it to a flat globe, or I mean a flat plane, the Antarctica should be very, very large compared to what if it was on a globe.
I'm a bit confused.
So I think that'd be a way to measure.
Just 1 second, John. You started off by saying if you flatten it out.
The globe.
Okay. The globe.
Antarctica would expand.
I got you. I'm now
very
responding to you. Maybe if you just keep repeating it 16 times, it'll continue to be a point that's an unaddressed point.
Well, hopefully I don't.
You hopefully could shut up. No, what you're doing is you're suggesting that the globe needs to be squashed flat. And I was about to point out what I'd pointed out several times previously, was that the globe you think you're standing on was created using flat Earth measurements. So what are you talking about? No, you first measure Earth flat, then you can project those points that you measured flat onto a globe, and then you can project those onto a cylinder, cut that down the middle and roll that out flat. That's global projection, but you start with flat Earth measurements. You started by thinking, well, if I've got my automatic globe, where do you think that came from? It came from measurements of a flat plane to give you that globe. There's no squashing a globe involved in projecting out maps flat. But they must be flat, otherwise they wouldn't work with circles of equal elevation that you're measuring with the stars. That's why they're all flat. Because the world's flat. That's how we deal with it. That's how we measured it originally, before we got to your globe bit that you thought we had to squash. That's where you thought it started. It doesn't start with a globe, it starts with flat Earth angle measurements to the stars. Okay, so let's get that out of the way first. There's no squashing.
Okay, I understand completely. I do understand what you're saying. I think it's a very valid point. I'd also like to say, what do you think? How much miles long is the Antarctic Circle?
Why?
Irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
No, because if it was on a globe and it was at the bottom of a globe, it would be a lot shorter distance than if it was the width of
You've
the
done
whole.
it again. You've done it again.
Flat Earth.
Stop. You've done it again. If it was on a globe, then it would come from originating flat Earth angle measurements to the stars to be able to project things like the latitude system onto the globe. So regardless of you suggesting that what would happen on a globe, whatever happens on a globe has its genesis in flat Earth measurements. So it's irrelevant. It's just a way of stacking it up as a straw man and false dichotomy if you're going to stack it up in that manner. And when we say it's irrelevant, it is, because what the distances do on a globe, okay, well, let's say you say they work out perfectly on a globe. Well done, flat Earth measurements, for giving us that globe then. So what? It's non sequitur. Just give me 1 second before you respond. Shaquille O'Neal, I'm 7'2" tall. Brenda, do you have any evidence of your height? Shaq, measurements, height. Brenda, that's not evidence. Thank you for the super chat, Misfit. Alrighty then. In the same respect as us saying, well, if you're going to take a win for the globe in some claim to be straw man position that would only work on one or other model.
I wouldn't say it's a straw man. I would say that it's the only thing we can do to measure, really, is if it's a globe, there would be a lot shorter distance, and then if it was flat Earth, it would be the longest form of
distance is linear.
Border.
Distance is linear.
Right, and you're not measuring.
I said it's around.
You're calculating something that contradicts your initial
someone else here
measurement.
might be able to understand what I'm saying.
He's not listening. He's just waiting for his turn to repeat his exact same claim. Yeah, we heard the claim 3 times. He responded to it, but he hasn't comprehended the response. It does not compute. He hasn't comprehended it. He hasn't absorbed it. Therefore, is not responding to it. He doesn't get it.
Right. Let me try again.
I don't understand your response.
A simpler way.
Okay.
You are calculating.
John, just hold on. John, I've got to be able to lead you. Hold on. Right. Okay, sir. So you don't understand the response. I'm glad you said it, although it was masked slightly by John. That's fine. Yeah, you don't get what we're suggesting when we derive a globe from flat Earth measurements and therefore invalidate your line of questioning entirely. Go ahead, John.
You want me to tell him why it's invalid?
Yes, please. I just wanted to see if you had a response to what I said, summarizing it, but go ahead.
Right. You don't calculate things that contradict measurement and then hold up the calculation and keep the measurement. It doesn't make sense to do that.
I understand that, yeah. So it would have to be millions and millions. That's what the flat earthers are claiming. The Antarctica.
Dude, you're not going to rinse and repeat the same thing again. Let me correct your statement. If the Earth was a globe, we would be able to directly measure drop over distance. That would be a more accurate statement.
Drop from what?
From a flat plane.
We're going to measure the drop from. It doesn't even, they can't even enter into that discussion.
Drop from a flat plane, from a horizontal plane of reference to describe the drop from. You'll have to have that in the first instance. You'll have to have a flat Earth, as per the Earth curve maths. It also uses a flat Earth claim curve.
Good point.
Called surface level, by the way.
So your point is you're terrible at math.
Sorry, that was an ad hominem. If anybody wanted to know what an ad hominem is, that's an ad hominem.
Well,
that's not what an ad hominem is.
The time would take a lot longer.
Okay, everyone stop. Everyone stop. Everyone stop. Everyone stop. Everyone stop.
No, that's an ad hominem.
Hello, can you stop? Oh, the response to the argument was that the claim of curve requires a horizontal plane of reference in Earth curve maths to describe the curve from. Response: you're crap at maths. Now, an ad hominem is a response that does not address the argument, but addresses the man. At the man. Ad hominem. So did he address that curve would have to be described from the horizontal plane of reference? No. Did he just say I was bad at maths, not addressing of the argument and addressing something at me? Yes, he did. That's an ad hominem fallacy. Okay, hope we're all clear. This education lesson was brought to you by Flat Earth Debate.
Yeah, they both ran away when they got muted for talking over each other. And
They
you.
couldn't but help yammer through them being humiliated. How sad.
We got one back.
I mean, it's not hidden. I don't know why they're acting like I'm stupid for saying it. It's actually written down. When they say tangent, it has a name in the Earth curve mass. It's called surface level.
Yep.
You're just rubbish at maths. That's not an ad hominem.
We're talking hypotheticals.
That key suffix second word is level. Surface level. Not surface curve. Not surface bent. Convex,
If I were to
concave.
just take a boat, it would take years to get around. Compared to if it was a globe, it would take a tenth of the time.
And we're back to false dichotomies, aren't we?
No one else is bringing any debate up.
That's a false.
Does it take 7 days to go around a building?
Or is a false dichotomy better than nothing?
Well, let's talk about the whole Earth, not a building. It would take years to go around the circumference of Antarctica on a flat Earth, but on a globe, it would take a tenth of the time.
I literally
and that's
just
how we would
addressed
determine.
this 20 seconds ago and he ignored me. So let's see if he
you're
chants
talking
through me.
about
Oh, he's going to definitely
hypothetical.
chant through me repeating. Definitely better to chant through me repeating what's demolished his fallacy. That would be a false dichotomy fallacy. And the one side of the false dichotomy, that would be the globe, has its genesis in flat Earth measurements. So it's
Getting
just a
around
false
the globe takes
dichotomy.
about 175 to 200 days, depending on
That
weather,
would be a
etc.
White Knight. White Knight couldn't stand his man getting his bum smacked. Chants instead of his man chanting. Shouldn't his man be chanting? He isn't. I'll do it for him. Thanks, White Knight. Speedmaster, was it a bit painful?
What are you on about? The question was asked how long it would take to circumnavigate with a boat around the Earth. I gave the response. I don't see where your issue is here.
You're incorrect.
It's 175 to 200 days, depending on the weather.
You're incorrect. So
Who
stop
cares?
interrupting.
Who cares? What does this prove?
It's not incorrect. It's been done a lot of times.
So what? What does it prove?
Hang on.
But it takes 175 days
Everyone else
to
except
get
the
around the plan.
speedster guy, shut up. Just want to hear the speedster guy. What does it prove, speedster guy?
I'm not saying if it proves anything. I'm just saying it takes 175 to circumnavigate the flat or the round Earth, whatever you might want to call it or think it is.
Well, that's a false dichotomy.
How is it a false dichotomy if it's already
Whether
happened
it's a
multiple
flat
times?
or a globe, are you slow? Are you like the last guy?
No, I'm saying it takes 175 days to 200
I don't
days
need
to get
it a
around the
fourth
globe.
time. Can you shut
Or
him
the
up
flat
now?
Earth, whatever
Can
you
you
want
shut
to
him
do
up
it.
now? Because now he's just
How
incessantly
ill are
repeating
you
the
here?
claim.
Jesus Christ.
I heard the claim. Now I just need to shut up. That's still a false dichotomy. You said it's this measurement.
How is it a false dichotomy? It happens.
I'm telling you, but you won't shut your friggin' mouth.
Are you fucking?
Maybe are you definitely going to eat your mic while I'm talking to you? I'm responding to you. You've had to be server muted because I've tried to respond to you 3 friggin' times. Whether it's on a globe or a flat Earth, with the distance being claimed, is an introduction of a false dichotomy. 4th time. You don't have to get triggered and yammer through me telling it you. I doubt you heard it. He's had to be server muted, which means he's probably still talking.
Not only is it a false dichotomy, invalidating the measurements over a plane does not give you a sphere. Doesn't work that way.
100 people watching live. Woohoo! Please share the show if you've not done so already. A very warm welcome to all of you in the YouTube live stream. Good to have you. Thank you for sharing. I know some of you must have done, as there's 100 people watching. Thank you for hitting the share button. 2 clicks if you haven't done it already. Please share the show.
You know, part of the reason that people fight so hard against this is that they already know it's measured flat. They know level's flat. They know that all the they'll come in and tell you it's a localized plane. It just looks flat. They know it. They have to know it to build their belief of a globe upon it. They just really don't like it when we point it out.
I was going to say something similar, John. I think that's why they're steering away from the measurements. Obviously, we can see that's happening. I think the penny's starting to drop that. They're realizing when they actually start to describe or try to describe how globe Earth is measured, they're actually explaining how a flat Earth's measured. And it must be painful, so they need to talk about the sky and ice walls and false dichotomies.
Yeah. So long as you can beg the question of sphericity, ignoring all contradictions in the measurements of the Earth itself, then you can stack it up in false dichotomy and say, oh, well, you know, this distance that we traverse is definitely the same on both globe Earth and flat Earth. No, there's only a flat Earth. The globe Earth comes from the flat Earth. They don't need to talk about what it would do on a globe. And number 2, you wouldn't get any linear distances, angular measurements. None of that would come from a globe. It's just a model designed to give you better predictive capabilities of where the stars will appear in the night sky. Doesn't mean we're standing on that globe.
Explain.
There's a chanting zealot straight through the end of an explanation of where the globe came from. Oh, sorry, my bad. My middle of sentence interrupted the start of yours. You go ahead, son.
I'm sorry, you're right. But can if we take a look at the photo I put in the chat, can somebody verify that this is how the circumferences are way different? They should be the same.
Sorry, is it we must do this false dichotomy?
It's not a false dichotomy. You're saying this is what the flat globe looks like. I mean, the flat Earth looks like.
No, I didn't say anything of the sort. Nobody said anything like that. So you're going to lie about what we've said. Who said it? Put it in quotes now.
Well, the whole flat Earth community.
So nobody here said it then. So it's definitely a stereotyping fallacy. The whole bleeding flat Earth said it. Now he's talking through me as I point out how bleeding wrong it is to use a stereotyping fallacy and a lie suggesting that someone here said it. Gotta lie to Glurf. To be a globe believer, you must lie, like he just did. Nobody here said that. So we've got to study something that you're going to hold up in false dichotomy, and when your deceit's pointed out to you, like the deceitful Glurf you are, you're going to talk through me, pointing out how deceitful you are. So we must do this false dichotomy. Why? Well, because that's what you say. Who said it? Quote it now. The whole of Flat Earth said it. So not only is it a lie, it's been turned into a stereotyping fallacy. You're a Glurf scumbag liar. Got to lie to Glurf.
You'll be able to see that the circumference of Antarctica is a lot larger.
So no, he's going to ramble on with his claim anyway. I'm going to do this false dichotomy regardless of being called a glurf scumbag liar who's just lied about something we haven't said. I'll carry on with my example anyway. Your justification being I said, we said something that hasn't come in quotes, but you'll ramble on about it anyway. I've just called you a scum. Do you think I want to carry on talking to you? You're a proven liar. Nobody here said that, but in your mind, I'll carry on with my example. No, you're a demonstrable scumbag. I definitely don't want to talk to you anymore. If you're stupid enough to think that you still need to be carrying on with your example, I'll just plough on after being demonstrably proven to be an absolute liar. And that means I'll carry on with my example, I think. Are you really that stupid? No, after you've been demonstrably proven to be a liar after saying we've said something, and then definitely not put it on in quotes, but stereotyping an entire frigging community, that's, in your mind, a cue to carry on with the frigging example. No, it's your cue to get lost and climb under a rock. Shout out to Roger Ledwell. How do you get circumference on a ball? You don't. You measure Earth flat and derive the circumferential value from the minimum elevation angle to Polaris. You must. It's your outside edge of a sphere. It's an equator value. That's what it is. So you don't get circumference on a ball.
You can also derive the curvature value from a differential calculation between eye level and surface level, and as you change in altitude, which is with respect to a flat plane.
Is anybody going to debate us that's not scummy, that's not a liar, that doesn't want to have my kids off me, that doesn't want to incite violence at a public, what would I call it, meet and greet? Anybody that's not a complete scum of the earth degenerate globe believer? No? Just scumbags, liars, deceivers, nothing else, right? Just people who want to incite criminality and have other people's children. It's just you guys, right? Just the scumbags that represent the globe, is it?
Tell me you earn less than minimum wage without telling me you earn less than minimum wage. Kind of funny, though.
Or was that something about minimum wage? I didn't quite hear what you said. I'm sorry.
It was nothing to do with measurements anyway.
Oh, right.
It's just getting worse by the minute.
Excuse me. Hey, what's up, fellas? Not to get off the subject. It's on the subject, but I just want to say something. I think one of the reasons why the stereotype fallacy comes around because they don't understand, or they haven't been listening, that they can't stereotype us upon other anti-globers who are not really flat earthers, who bring up things like the Great Wall of Ice and all of these different things of speculative, conversation that they try to use as tools for proof. We don't play that game. We play about the measurements, the navigation, celestial navigation, the observation, the common sense things too as well. But I think what it is that being that we always say they globers, they try to equate our stereotype, which is rightfully, because if you think about it, the content which globers speak of are usually universally consistent. They all have the same belief. No one ever criticizes the other one. They pretty much ride on the back of each other and support each other's argument of nonsensical fallacies. On the other hand, we have a history of constructively critiquing our own anti-globers who call themselves flat earthers. And we check them and let them know, no, this is not how it is. This is how it is. So you can't stereotype FED. You can't say, here, could you explain to us and say if this is your flat earth model? You can't do that because we don't ride on that bandwagon. And I'll end on that.
No, we just show you how your globe was measured flat in the first instance. Oh, there's a nice little pause. I'll do a call to action as there's 111 people watching. Thank you very much, all of you who shared the show, and a very warm welcome to all of you who've just joined us. If you have just joined us, please share the show. Just a couple of clicks, and it's out on your favourite social media platform, Bebo, MySpace, whatever it may be.
If I introduced a model to you, right, or the idea that I had a model of my kitchen, we'll say my kitchen, and I said that model was spherical, and I give you angle measurements off the floor, would you stop me?
I think what I'd do is I'd take the bit where you turned it into a globe, accept that that's what your kitchen was and believe that I was standing on it, and then ignore all the origin measurements that you used to claim the kitchen was a globe. I think that's what I'd prefer to do.
That's fair enough. That's what everybody does anyway.
That's what everyone does
doing it for hundreds of years. Just keep doing it. Why not?
That's what the Globers do.
Morning, guys.
Hey,
What's
Chocolate.
up, John?
Hi, Chocolate.
We're in politics. Just, I'm not sure. I don't think I need to tell you, but just behave yourself.
Don't I always?
I'm sure you do. We're just guests here. That's all. So you don't want to become complacent. That's all.
Good. Yep, it's all good. What's up, politics? What's up, 24/7? What's up, everybody?
We're all good. We love
Not
Nathan
much,
Oakley's show. Oh,
Good morning. What up, Charlie?
Not getting much evidence of apparent Earth curvature. Chocolate. It's all ice wall and ad hominem attacks. Nothing to do with measurements.
Oh, man. Well, someone once told us that they'd rather a model than measurements anyway. So it seems like as though that side is apparently running away from measurements because they know better.
No, that's
Brenda told me that measurements aren't evidence.
Well, they're caught between a rock and a hard place in that regard. If they decry the measurements, then they've got no globe to believe in, because the measurements that created the globe are flat. So you can decry them all you like.
So that between a rock and a flat place?
Exactly.
No pun intended.
Nah, that was pun very intended.
What were you saying, Speed Sky? I heard minimum wage something or other.
If he doesn't go, I want to bring something up.
Oh, maybe he had a point. I don't know. Maybe it was just an ad hom.
We're minimum wage losers. Cool. Anyway, I told QE about a year or two ago that he needed to do a show on measurements and their significance, because I think people have forgotten, and that's really what it is, that people have lost respect for reference.
That's what I was going to say. Why is it that when they're hit with the measurements, wall comes up instead of something clicking in their brain that makes them understand that everything is from a flat plane? Everything they talk about, when they talk about heights of things, elevation, something's got to click.
No, Luke. I am your father. No! No! Say it ain't so! Yeah, the genesis of your globe is flat Earth measurements. They are the father of the globe. And you can deny it all you like.
I find it quite funny when they try to explain, or you give them time to try and explain how it's measured. And every other word is explaining an angle measurement or sea level, altitude above sea level, horizontal, horizon, tangent lines, vertical, perpendicular. And you start thinking, you're not talking about curvature here, my friend. You're talking about how Earth is measured flat. Now, you can't use them words. Now, tell us how Earth curve is measured without referring to how flat it's measured. I find it quite amusing.
Well, you would have to.
Oh, John.
You would have to be able to measure the rate of change of slope. But the problem is, the moment you try to do that, you can't use rise over run anymore, because run is a horizontal plane. You cannot say Earth is a sphere. It's just not.
Oh, dear.
And just to allude to what One Deck was saying, every single word he said referred to straight lines. Every single word he said, leveled, vertical, horizontal. What's it going to take?
Shout out to Duncan McLeod. Says, Nathan, you just did a Star Wars Mandela effect. I did not do a Star Wars Mandela effect. The script is as follows. No, I am your father. Now, if I inserted Luke, just so everyone knew the context of what I was talking about on the spot, then I apologise. Not a Mandela effect. The script is just no, I am your father. People might not have known what I was talking about on the spot if I hadn't said Luke.
Mandela, what's that?
It's some crazy offshoot. Let's not talk about that. Thank you for the super chat.
Like what I said though, could you imagine, trying to think of another way to say it, because I don't think anybody really got what I said. If hot didn't go to cold, and then we make the supposition, if hot doesn't go to cold, then blah diddy blah blah. You know, if this natural law wasn't true, then this would happen. You know what I mean? When you're messing with axioms, you know what I mean? Like that's about what's happening in their minds, I think.
You're saying measurements are as strong as natural law?
Well, no, measurements are kind of, there's a finality to them that isn't like a description of entropy. The description is exactly that. You're describing something, but you're not describing something when you measure it, other than its length, its height, its angle. You know, that's what you're describing, the measurement. But the measurement isn't a description. You know, saying it's 20 centimeters doesn't tell you how it's a table. Yeah?
You can describe the dimensions of an object, but measurement is not a description. The action to quantify.
Yeah, you can extrapolate out after the measurements if you want to. But the measurement kind of is what it is. That's why when we say Earth's measured flat, that's a factual statement in terms of what's being done with respect to Earth. When you take an angle with respect to Earth, it is measuring Earth flat. Now you can say, well, it doesn't mean it is flat. Well, you can say that, but that is what you're doing. You don't have to like it, but angle measurements are the basis of the globe. So you can deny it all you like. We do measure Earth flat.
Exactly. And it's an obtained measurement. Then it's described after it's measured. But it's not like, so what did the guy look like? I think he was about 5'10" or maybe 140 pounds, and you haven't even weighed the guy or put a measuring tape on him. It's not like we're done like throwing out random numbers. These are measurements. These are actual measurements.
Yeah, and the principle of these measurements is violated if the world is the reification of the globe that came from the measurements. So if you turn this measurement of a flat Earth angle, in this case to a star, into a globe with things like latitude wrapped around it, then at that point you can't then measure the surface that you've reified into sphericity, because it won't give you an angle anymore. So it suddenly bastardizes the original measurements that have created the globe in such a manner that they no longer function with a globe.
And you know what? You want to know what a pseudo-mathematical measurement is? Not even a measurement, but something pulled out the sphincter based on some math, just conceptual math. It's the 24,000 plus miles of the circumference of the Earth, which was basically just based on their fallacy, dichotomy of, oh, let me see, 24 hours in a day. We said it spins at 1,000 miles per hour. So that's 1,000 times 24 hours. 24,000 miles. That's how the circumference of the Earth. That's some random thing pulled out the butt. But nobody measured that.
How did they calculate their circumference though? What in the equation that calculates circumference, what measurements are used on one side of the equation?
The equator itself is the minimum elevation angle measurement to Polaris. It's the point where you no longer have Polaris, therefore it's its maximum area of equal altitude or circle of equal elevation.
Right. That's the equator. On one side of the equation, you have a planar measurement? Why do you have a sphere that contradicts the angle you just measured?
Well, in practical terms, it's to make better sense of epicycles. There you go. That's why.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's epicycles is fine in that diagram. They call a model. It's from the equatorial plane.
Yeah.
It's still not globe.
Yeah, but to have the physical land be in motion around the sphere in the mathematics, you have to mobilize the land itself in a sphere-shaped manner. Now, obviously, that can't be the territory that you're measuring with the angles that you're trying to represent in that model, but that is the model, and the elliptical orbits are better explaining the epicycles with, what do they call them now? What are the wandering stars called now? What's the motion in heliocentrism? It's got a new name. What do they call epicycles in heliocentrism? Anybody?
Are you talking about retrograde motion, or are
Retrograde.
you talking about?
There you go. You knew. Retrograde motion. There you go. That's why. That's why there'd be a flat Earth on one side of the equation and a globe Earth on the other. That's the answer.
But it's not a globe on the other side of the equation.
No, it's a globe in a model on the other side of the equation, better explaining the motions of the stars with a model.
Inside the globe, maybe.
Yeah, but it's still inside the globe, moving around the sun at the equatorial plane that's in physical motion in the mathematics.
Right, so you're not measuring from the surface of a curved Earth.
No, you're inside it if you're making it work with the equatorial plane and the extended, what do they call that? Celestial plane?
Yeah.
So you're in hell.
When I learned that from Tink.
If you're going to describe the angles, you must be in hell, yes.
Yeah. Well, see, I knew all this stuff. I knew how, orbital mechanics, Keplerian elements. I knew this stuff before I got into this subject. I knew that you took, apogee and perigee and use those calculations. And then Tink starts going over this. I think that's why I thought it so hard, I'd already been educated in it. He wasn't saying anything that really contradicted it, but I just couldn't accept it because it was being pointed out to me in a different way.
I'm going to read this person's comment. I don't normally read people's chats that aren't paying for them. Not because I'm tight, just there's too many messages. Check this out from J.A.G1, Jag1. I've recently found Nathan Oakley, and I've been watching a fair amount of his shows. From what I understand, Nathan claims that the Earth cannot be a globe because it is measured flat. Thank you, Jag1. Thank you so much for leaving that message. That makes me very happy.
He should have continued and said, and the globe comes from flat measurements.
It's like
the globe is measured flat.
Refracted was explained. Refracted's done it with his kitchen. Anybody can do it. You can use your light bulb, can't you, John, from the center of the kitchen, get the GP of the light bulb, the distance from that GP of the light bulb on the flat tile floor, and the distance to where you're taking the angle measurement from, yeah? And then you just do some division, mathematics and trickery, and turn it into a sphere. That's exactly what Eratosthenes did. Anybody can try it at home.
Well, he's also got a follow-up question, because it's me saying it and reading it. I'm also going to put this to someone else, so... Jag1 also says, but then what do we use as a map? Aren't all world maps globe projections? Forgive me, this is all very new to me and it's hard for me to understand. Well, hopefully over the last 10 minutes, go ahead, John. We've been summarizing this for the last 10 minutes, but go ahead.
All global projections, right, are from a globe, but the globe is a projection from a plane. The equatorial plane. So you're using a projection of a projection as proof. You have to go to the source, and the source is the equatorial plane. That's the flat plane you stand on when you take that measurement.
That's what we were just talking about when we said angles in hell. So to make the globe function, you can project out the angle measurements from the equatorial plane through a sphere that you create with a radial value at 3959, the minimum elevation to Polaris. And then you've got projected points that match the the celestial sphere, i.e. you've got you in the middle, and then like a pizza slice angle through it, PZX triangle, and then the view of the stars you actually have through that. That's how they create the globe, in terms of the mapping projections, at least. John.
But yeah, that
hold on, just one sec. Did someone have something to say from Discord? Someone's off mute. Someone have something to add?
Are you fucking joking?
Guys in Discord, can you just check if you're off mute when you shouldn't be? I don't want to have to close the Discord line just because someone's off mute.
Yeah. I think it's a troll, yeah. I'm just trying to find him because he's very quick.
Coming in to cause audio chaos. Right.
Yes.
Sorry, John. Your last point was slightly marred by somebody who's decided to just come off mute in Discord.
Well, the thing is, the back 5 years ago, I pointed that out to people that the model you're claiming, or if they were the old flat Earth videos, I was like, but that's just a global projection. You know, you're taking the globe and you're projecting that out to the flat plane. So you'll never be able to validate your flat plane. You built it on the idea of the globe. And that is a valid point to people that want to make that argument. You know, you're using a globe to make that model, is basically what they said to them. It's a really good point, and it stands. That means when they use measurements of a flat Earth to project onto their sphere, it's just as valid for us to state that.
Yeah, or conversely, if they claim the globe as some win, it's like, well, okay, well, I'll claim that as a flat Earth win because the globes come from those flat Earth measurements. So any win for the globe is just a win for the origin genesis measurements of a flat Earth.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
I've never been in a debate that actually reached an end before. Usually just people disagree and then talk badly about it.
It's not really a debate, is it? I mean, when you think about it, it's you know, we're not having a discussion and putting points forward and then having a vote at the end of it of what we should do. You know, on our side, we've got the evidence and to put forth that that's how it's measured. This is how it's dealt with. Elevation angles to and from Polaris to get latitude, longitude. You know, navigation. Everything we're talking about is evidence of the Earth being measured and navigated flat. It's not a debate.
Yeah, that's why I always say that. Well, what's the valid point of contention? That's what you first need to have a real debate. And the only valid point of contention was, is there a measurement of Earth curve? And if there is, you know, there was a debate to be had.
Well, every time I try and get this evidence of Earth curve, I'm faced with Eratosthenes measuring angles, and the same with Al-Biruni, measuring angles.
You ever heard, John? You remember they used to say that Earth curve was negligible? Yeah, the latest one is if your curvature is insignificant.
Right. You still got to be able to measure it, though. That makes
Not if it's not significant.
claim they can measure. They have an Earth curve calculator. They claim they can measure curvature. They do claim that.
Yeah, until it's time for them to actually defend it, and they're like, nah.
Well, there's no measurement. The Earth level is never curving, ever. The horizon that's labeled in that diagram, called the Earth curve calculator, is just a differential calculator. All right, when you're talking about what's disappearing from the bottom up, it's the differential between the plane that the object is on, the plane that you're on, and that differential loss is what you're talking about. It's at no point is that a curve.
So you just mentioned two planes. So the math is not plane plus plane equals sphere. My math is wrong there?
Yeah, quite wrong.
Oh, man. Let me try again.
You don't understand.
He's
If
right.
you understand level and horizontal, the denotative definition of that is equal level. See, I'm saying level again. It's like redundant. You can't explain unless you use the redundant word to explain it. It's like from one end to the other, all the way through it. It's level. Level, horizontal, straight line, angle. Two lines coming together, the vertex. Straight lines, not curvy lines. Then it wouldn't be an angle. It'd be a circle. I don't get it. It's not that, man, a lot of these guys in their 20s too, so they only been out of school for like maybe 10 years. I mean, me, I've been out of school for like 40 years. Nathan, 30-something.
Rose, it's like, I've said it a few times, I'm just going to say it again for everyone. These are the words that I'm telling them they can't use, and it's called 22 words. 22 words not allowed to be used when explaining how Earth curve is measured. Sea level, horizon, horizontal, parallel, plumb, perpendicular, elevation, angles, triangles, sea sextant, theodolite, spirit level, altitude, vertical, tangent, straight line, plane, and flat. 22 words, and that's that. You can't use these unless you're explaining flat.
Thank you.
Put above and below on that list yet?
Yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow, mate.
Perfect. Right, with that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow.
Yeah, I don't think he said pseudoscientist, did he? Just kidding. I love you, Matthew. You're a good one.
Thanks. I love Matthew too.
Not
He's-
the same way
Hey,
Redlanders does.
I found Matthew at the very least is one of the honest Globers that admits even within a completely sealed, solid barrier container, a pressure gradient still can be achieved. As I was telling him, and he was surprised for him to hear this. The vast majority of the Globers that I come across, they'll say, there's no way the Earth can have a pressure gradient if it's being contained in some sort of solid barrier because it should all equalize. Is what they say.
Sea level? We're going to describe the gradient from sea level, maybe?
That's not curved.
Here's that damn word again. Level.
Can't use that
Does
word,
any
sorry.
scientist want to demonstrate that they can get out of the spherical geodesy dilemma?
Feel free to repeat it.
Let me pull it up here. There it is. Just recently made this supplement, so there's the first horn. If the horizon is only an optical phenomenon, then the horizon isn't the summative water curve wrapped around the ball. Horizon is only an optical phenomenon, therefore the horizon is not the summative water curve wrapped around the ball. If you insist on sustaining the premise, that the Earth is a ball, and if the horizon is the summit of water curve wrapped around the ball, then we can only see to the horizon. We don't only see to the horizon, we see beyond the horizon. Therefore, the horizon is not the summit of water curve wrapped around the ball.
I'm calling that the dumbed down black swan because it and I like things to be summarized, stated, and then reiterated. It does that with the black swan argument, but in a much more slimmed down, simplistic form. So much slimmed down that you can say it 3 times. I think that's so good. It's just and by dumbed down, I mean that in a very complimentary way. It's harder to make things
simplified.
Yeah, it's harder to do that. So I'm
Is that formulated as if A, then B, not A, therefore not B? Is that how you
The second
formulated that?
horn is modus tollens. You're right.
Yeah.
The first horn is modus ponens.
It's the dumbed down black swan. It's just the linguistics of it that make it so much more simple to digest if you listen to it, because it's being reiterated over and over again to you in terms of the base premise, what needs to be in place for the base premise to succeed, how the base premise fails, and it's repeated. I just think that's great.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. Nice one, Gregory. And with that, mate, I'll catch us later. Cheers, AJ. Thanks, mate.
See you, Matrix.
Cheers,
have a good one, man. It's in Master B for everyone, if anyone wants it.
My formulation of this dilemma, it touches the heart point of dispute, because the black swan is an instance of falsifying a particular radius. But this dilemma falsifies or demonstrates the unverifiability and necessary falsification of anyone that sustains there to be a ball of any size, be it 3959 or smaller or bigger.
Did you ever think you'd have to falsify the spherical radius of a flat plane?
Did you ever think you'd have to measure the curvature of a flat plane?
Sorry, my connection broke.
Yeah, it's I mean, no, I ain't saying nothing against what you just did. That's very eloquent. That's why I was asking about the formulation of that. But it's
what I was saying
unfair.
just before that, 10 seconds ago, before my connection broke. My formulation of this dilemma touches the heart point of dispute. The black swan is excellent, as it is an instance of demonstrating that there's a particular instance where this observation is not commensurable, it's not compatible with the premise that the Earth is a ball with a radius of 3959 miles, granted 3,559 miles. And so it falsifies that radius. Beneath that is the premise of the Earth being a ball at all, of any size. And so here's the dilemma for anyone that sustains the premise the Earth is a ball of any size greater or lesser than 3,559 miles, with a radius of 3,559 miles.
Right, but we've been led down the rabbit hole of begging the question so much that we have to, invalidate their positive claim. They think that there's no responsibility upon them to prove Earth's a sphere. That's how well the indoctrination in our school systems is working.
Absolutely correct. The best trick they ever pulled was to not let people realise that they automatically start with the assumption of the evidence that they're trying to prove. If everyone automatically thinks they're on a ball, it's not a logical consistency supposition when you suggest it. Therefore, when you beg the question, you whistle past it like it hasn't even happened. Well, if Earth's a ball, then when I go down to Antarctica and I'm antipodal because I've assumed I'm on a ball, we'll see X. You're like, okay, but you don't realise that what you've just done is made an assumption in terms of logic. By pure fiat, you've just decided that is the case, but you don't even realise it. And if I point it out to you, you'll say, well, it's perfectly legitimate for me to automatically assume I'm on a ball. I'm on a ball. You're like, what, the very essence of begging the question, the thing you want to prove, aka your belief you're on a ball, you automatically start with the supposition as the premise, and it's already a fait accompli. It's already a ball. I'm travelling on a ball. So it's like, well, you don't need to do anything else. You don't need to see anything in Antarctica. You've already decided you're travelling down to Antarctica on a ball.
It's either you have if I'm on a ball, then following something that does not necessarily entail from the Earth being a ball, then affirming the Earth is a ball, then affirming the conclusion. At best, that would be a modus ponens that's begging the question. And if
Yes,
you reverse premise 2 and 3, that's affirming the consequent.
precisely. So that how do you mask that? Because somebody with a reasonable grasp of logic might spot that. Well, how do you mask it? You dress it up in another fallacy on top of it. So you go, well, if I can take that and stack it next to something that I say my opponent claims and just hand it to him, here you go, here's your pizza pie in a vacuum. How does that compare to this model? What's this model? Well, this model is where I get to beg the question and assume the Earth is a sphere without you pointing out that that's automatically being assumed because I'm doing it fairly. I'm reasonably and fairly comparing it to what I've just handed you and told you is your model. And hopefully when you're looking at what I've told you is your model and you're going, what the hell's this? You won't notice that I'm assuming the very thing I'm trying to prove when I say, well, we're comparing that I've just given you to my model. And you won't definitely notice that the model he's holding has come from flat Earth measurements when he says this globe in automatic assumption is going to be the other side of the dichotomy. False in nature. So you hide the affirming the consequent behind a false dichotomy. And then you've got three layers, begging the question, affirming the consequent, and false dichotomy to pick through to get to the point where you look at what they're actually claiming, Earth being a globe. They haven't proven it yet. Obviously, begging the question, we won't cover it again. But if you looked at that bit, you go, well, where does that globe idea that you haven't proven yet come from? And that's where we've got to after 10 years. Well, that bit comes from the measurements of a flat plane.
That observation that gentleman stated earlier is exactly why I've chosen to be an aporetic skeptic. You see there in the open chat, there's 3 types of Pyrrhonism. It's just another synonym for skepticism. Aporetic, engaged in refutation. Effectic, refraining from judging, refraining from concluding. And zetetic, seeking the knowledge out. So because they, like the other gentleman before you who spoke, have this habit of presuming that they're the ones that are going to sit in their seat of scorn and scrutinize everyone else, and they never have to endure scrutiny. I defy that with the aporetic skepticism and critiquing them.
Yes, that was typified right at the beginning of the show. There was a very pleasant lady that was saying, well, I just know it's a ball already, therefore you guys are wrong, and you're poisoning people because you defy my zealotry that I'm here to let you all know I adhere to without any evidence or knowing why I tell you you're poison or why I think what I know is true is true. Yeah. They're automatically in the I'm correct position. You need to justify why you're defying what I automatically believe. Because I don't know I believe it. I just think it's automatically true. You know, zealotry.
And just to be clear, if anyone missed the point, the error isn't simply believing your position. That's not the error. The error is habitually believing your position, presuming your position, refusing to be critically considerate, and refusing to engage the scrutiny being levied against your position.
Or that's paraphrased into in one ear and out the other.
Right.
Hey, is Brian or Adam there?
No, thank God. We're okay. Neither of them.
I think you'll have to do then, Nathan.
Gee, thanks. QE's here.
What was that?
Quantum Eraser is here. All hail.
No, I had a question for Brian or what's his name? Brian or Adam.
Okay. Brian Adams not here.
Oh, well, maybe you can do it, Nathan. When we were talking about the teas the other day, he mentioned a brand, but I couldn't figure out which flavor. It says one about Irish breakfast. 'Cause I just got a electric water kettle, and I really want to try what you guys drink over there.
A cup of tea?
But I don't know which one. Yeah, a cup of tea. But it was one that says Irish breakfast or something else, a full body. I don't know which one, but he said it was Mr. Beans or I don't know what brand it was.
Which brand of
tea? It was a
tea?
brand.
We've got Tetley, we've got Yorkshire tea, we've got PG Tips. But normally they'll just come in a variety. English breakfast, Irish breakfast, if that's something that exists. I wouldn't know. I'm not in Ireland. But they're going to be all similar.
Okay, what's the most popular one then?
Here, Tetley or PG, they're just like the common man's normal tea, fairly strong.
And what's one of them called?
PG Tips.
If I can just buy one.
Or Tetley tea.
Tetley tea.
Tetley, Tetley, or
Tetley tea.
PG, just Papa Golf, PG. There's Yorkshire tea, but I don't know if that would make an export. Anyway.
Papa Golf.
Yeah, PG Tips.
What about Papa Oscar Golf?
That would be POG.
Yeah, Pogue. Friggin' Pogues.
This isn't a military thing. We're talking about tea. You know that, right? At ease.
At ease.
I have no military affiliation. Using those terms is probably irritating several military men listening. What are you
You're
saying?
not supposed to speak.
Little sod?
You can't speak at ease.
I can't say that now. I know.
When
No,
I bought the kettle, with the kettle at the consumer store, they said, "What do you want a water kettle for?"
They are so common that they are sold like at corner shops here. Like, it's so common that someone might want a kettle or have a kettle breakage that your average Indian guy running a corner shop would potentially keep one on his shelf for that guy that comes in and goes, "You got a kettle?" Yeah, there's one up there, mate. That's how common they are. So for you to say, if you walked into a major department store and said, "Have you got a water kettle?" Why would you want one of those? We got
no, he said, "You know, you can boil water, right?" He said, "You can throw it in the microwave, right?"
In the microwave, yeah. Just wrong. It's just wrong. Anyways, that was fun. Did anyone catch any of my latest clips that I put out from Omi TV?
Oh yeah, Nathan. I don't know, man. You can't just bring it up randomly, man. You gotta talk to these people better, man.
Why?
Just randomly. I mean, we don't know if you're gonna whip your dick out or you just bring up flat Earth. Is weird. I mean, you gotta vet these people better.
The fuck?
Yes.
Stop swearing.
Yeah,
Slap him in the
I
face.
saw. Yeah, I saw a few of them. The Hamza one is really good. Interesting.
Yeah, sometimes you get absolute nuggets like that, and for the most part you don't. You just get 2 or 3 minutes of having someone's ear, and you've got to capture their attention and weasel in that Earth's flat, or that space is fake, or that we haven't been to the moon. You just have to figure a way of subtly weaving it into the conversation so they don't go, "You're a weirdo," and just get rid of you immediately. But that's a skill I'm honing currently, isn't it? I'll get better.
I like the one where you like shocked like that girl and the guy in the car. That was a good one for me. I like that one.
But so far, that's my favourite, because there were two relatively educated students. So one studying for finance, one studying to be a doctor. So they're not stupid. And when you go, well, I was a bit sexist. I was like, "Hey, dude, doing finance, have you heard the second law of thermodynamics?" And they both go, "Yeah," instantly together. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, I thought I instantly regretted it when I put it to him rather than both of them. But anyway, that aside, that little error by me was the only thing I regret. But them instantly watching, because they're both smiling along, right, while we're talking about the subject, and they go, "What would happen to the gas if the sky was a vacuum?" And their smile dropped, and he went,
"Yeah,
we'd be dead."
And like they both realized at the same time, like, wait, why have we never thought of that? Because like you said, what happens to the gas? And they're like, it will fill the vacuum, and then they just like they realized exactly what just happened, and I was like, that was awesome. That was a
Hey
golden moment.
Nathan, how hard is it to distinguish a person's age? I find it very difficult.
Oh, I find it easy. I've worked in a bar though, so at one point in my career, I was a barman, and spotting people's age, I found very, very. A couple of the clips, people were like, okay, how old am I? And I'd guess their age on the spot, and then I'd watch their eyes widen, and I go, so I got it right then. And then they'd obviously swipe away because they couldn't quite believe I'd guessed correctly. They'd be like, well, how old am I? I'm going to go with 14. And you're like, well, yeah, that's because you're 14.
The guy talking about the motorcycles. I swear the guy was like, that guy's past 40, and it turns out he was 23. What the hell is that?
Just the beard.
He also made another goof.
Go on.
With that girl and the guy in the car, saying that him with finance is going to make millions and going to make much more money than her when she wants to be a pediatric surgeon. You want to take that one back?
Going to work in
I
Britain.
would take that one back, Nathan.
In Britain. She's going to work in Britain, though. Well, she might go move abroad. I suppose maybe I was wrong in that regard. As a Brit, she's not going to be a millionaire, even as a paediatrician.
Oh, really?
No? What made you... Well, okay, obviously in a privatised... You guys have got a very different medical structure over there to here.
Sure. Yep.
You are right, though. That might be perceived to an audience as, why the hell would he say that? She's going to be a doctor. That means she's going to be a bazillionaire. Well, not a British doctor.
Not just a doctor, a pediatric surgeon. I mean, you're talking over here, that's some big bucks, brother.
Okay. Yeah, that's top dog right up there with brain surgery.
Plastic surgery. Surgery.
No, because you're talking
plastic surgery is cheap shit.
Plastic surgery is cheap. Anyway, can we change the subject? Yes, okay, I see how that could be perceived as ignorant. I'm looking at it from them being Brits working in the NHS, and it's very different. So, sure. Although that even then, I think about it now and think, no, you're still right. Within that structure, should still be a very, very, very well-paid doctor.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you know how rare? I worked in a hospital before. Do you know how rare pediatric surgeries are?
Surgeries on children?
Yes, I worked at a tier 1 hospital before.
Oh, well, I'd suppose
do you know how rare that is?
It would be on a bell curve. It's on the, I would assume, on the opposite end of a bell curve, where lots and lots of old people get very, very sick and have lots of surgeries, and the other end of the curve is obviously children.
Kids are very malleable. They don't break bones easy.
They bounce. Yeah, their bones are made of rubber till they get to about 10.
Yeah, I was one time I was sitting in an armchair next to my uncle. He's about 50 something, and kids would zoom past us. Our nephews, they little 4 or 5 year olds would zoom past us, and one of them was just swinging on both our armchairs in between us, and he fell and hit his bum on the floor, and he just got up, dusted himself off, and ran. And my uncle looked at me, and goes, I would still be there on the floor, lying and crying on the floor if that happened to me. And
Exactly.
it's so true.
I remember being 8 and borrowing a friend's bike and going to a BMX track and missing a jump, having no helmet, no pads, no nothing, and just stacking it from a height, rolling down this hill, getting all gravel in my legs. And you dust off all the gravel, and yeah, you've got a bit of blood, but you carry on, you get back on the bike. Now, looking back on it, well, not even having to look back on it, recently I fell in the night, so I don't know, I smacked my head and I can't actually remember why I fell. But in the night, for whatever reason, I fell. And that put me in hospital, cracked several ribs, put me out of action, put a big gash at my face. Like, it was devastating, and I fell 6 feet. You know what I mean? You break when you get older. When you're young, you're made of rubber.
I think it's just that we don't stretch anymore, man. We don't, we're not stretching, we're not active. That's half the problem, I think.
Well, figuratively and literally, we're hardening as we get older, aren't we?
Hey, that sounds like Mike. Is that you, Mike? Michael?
No, I'm Gene, the one Nathan always confuses me and you with. He always confuses us too,
there
man.
you go. I recognize the voice. All right.
Is this a black thing where if there's another black guy on the panel, you'll pretend that I confuse you? Is this just some like unwritten? Let's pretend he's confused us before.
You do, Dr. Evil.
That is not true.
No, you always confuse. And I'm not even black. I'm Mexican.
I think you should go get a cat, Nathan, and do the pose with the pinky. Do the old Michael Myers pose and do a get a little screenshot like that.
I just want to take a note of the fact that he just ruined my reverse prejudice joke by pointing out he's Mexican, completely annihilating any humour in what I just said, and almost leading me to have an apology. Thanks for sucking all the humour out of that, Gene.
I love
Before you
watching the
evacuated the human
TikToks of Brits, what Brits think of Americans. I love those videos.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Gene, what's even better was the one call in that said, "Do you think the blackies should leave?" They was like, "Huh? Yes, the blackies. Should they leave the country? What's your thoughts on that?"
I know Nathan could probably look outside and see a riot right now. They were right there in Birmingham.
No, I live in a nice part of the country. But I did feel bad for those two black girls that I spoke to because they echo the feelings of them in a minority in a white country. So by asking me as a white man, do you feel as a white man that we should be removed from the country? That's like pure projection. Not in a negative way that they're projecting it onto me, but they're leaking how they perceive the current situation. Do you think I should go, white man? That's what they're asking me, isn't it?
Exactly. And
That's
I love
sad,
how you
isn't it?
answer.
Hey,
Isn't it?
all the
I just
videos
want to get my
I've
point in.
seen.
Just one second. Do you not think it's sad that they should be in a position to feel that way? I felt really bad for them.
Yeah, it's very sad.
I think that's a terrible position to put them or what they think they're in.
Yeah.
You know, 20 years from now, maybe they'll get it. Maybe they'll understand what's happening. But also I had a question. Why does everyone just have black shirts over there? Does anyone ever buy like a blue hoodie? Everything I see, everyone's wearing a black jacket or sweatshirt. There's no color over there in Britain.
Overcompensating.
I only wear white shirts because it's good for the collar, for the contrast on my camera. So if you ever wonder why I only wear white shirts, I've got about 50. So I've never without a clean white shirt to put on for a show. And it's just
no one has a t-shirt over there.
You need to iron it though, Nathan. Sometimes.
Talk to my wife. I actually threw the ironing board away because I was sick of it falling on me when I went to get the vacuum. So she's just bought a little miniature one. So good spot. It's because I physically threw out the ironing board. We got another one now.
You know, speaking of tragic, shameful things, it's a shame that for centuries, only the God knows how many people have been deceived into believing that black and white are ethnicities when they're not.
Well, the word ethnicity is arbitrarily constructed by us anyway, like most things.
Well, I contend against that.
Well, obviously, it is. We came up with that term as people.
You think humans made words when there were no words?
That you can see as a categorization, can't you? Ethnicity.
It's all classifications. That's all it is. Tags, brands, and
from
classifications.
the Greek ethnos, the nations, common descent.
Yeah, we've decided to arbitrarily ascribe them to what certain gerrymandered areas that we've arbitrarily ascribed to particular sections of the ground that we inhabit. It's all arbitrary, the whole thing.
I'm not talking about that.
Maybe
I'm talking about
genealogy,
Sorry, genealogical descent.
Geological descent, as in. Go on, expand on what you mean if I'm missing you, because I obviously am.
Yeah, ethnicity, which is coming from the Greek ethnos, when you translate that into English, that's the nations. A nation is a group of humans of common descent. That's not at all dictated by human arbitration.
Okay.
So that's why I say it's a shame that people believe that black and white are ethnicities when they're not ethnicities. These are colors.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Preach, brother, preach. Because there's a difference between nativity, tribal, whatever, from, whether you demarcate politically or whether you have a certain territory, yada, yada. But yeah, you're right. That whole color construct thing is a freaking divide and conquer thing. It makes no sense. Nathan, you're called white, but you're not white. Your t-shirt's white. I've never seen a human being that white, not even an albino that white.
He's
I've
not
never
white.
seen it.
Oh, I have seen.
What?
I've seen him. I've seen some super black ones too.
He's not white. He's a black Jewish
lesbian transgender.
Yeah,
chocolate's black.
Not chocolate, Nathan.
In his latest
Hey,
video,
check
he
it
looks
out.
like
Hey, check it out, Gene.
Dr. Evil.
Gene, let me tell you. Hey, Gene, let me explain something to you. I don't care how dark you've seen somebody. Black and white is for stupid people.
Yeah, that was another one
Okay?
that I corrected her. So
It's for it's for people who have no etymology knowledge. They're stupid. Their vocabulary is limited, and they live in a construct. A person that calls people black and white is as dumb as a glober. I'm gonna tell you just like that. That's the end of the story. I don't care how dark you've seen somebody or how pale you've seen somebody. It's not a construct for human beings. There are black bears. There are black retrievers. There are black chairs. There are white
We get the
Cadillacs.
Okay, stop. Yeah, but I just do want to give him one correction because he likes to articulate himself correctly. So it's etymological. That was the word you were fishing for.
There's a lot of other differences between Africans and, I guess you could say Caucasians, besides color, that differentiate between different races.
Right?
You know what I don't buy?
What?
I don't buy the black people are from Africa. Like not all of them. There were obviously some here. There were the Moors.
I want to allude.
They're not all like that.
To what he said. I want to allude to what he said. Within Africa and within the Caucasus Mountain area, there's a variant of skin color and hair texture.
Who cares?
They're different. Exactly. Who cares? But the fact of the matter is, when somebody tries to label or tag somebody under that construct, that dichotomy, you have to check them etymologically or denotative. You know what I'm saying? Because they use it as misnomers and they think they know what they're talking about.
Who are they?
Because, the ignorant.
Do you think an African man is different than somebody from the depths of China?
Yes, absolutely, without question. They're different places.
Whoever that just said that, whoever said it, I'm telling you, within Africa,
Trivially true that they're different.
Yeah, they are.
Within the continent, they're different.
Let's change. Right, look. Stop.
Within
Everyone
the continent, they're different.
You've got to stop.
Thanks. Say it 3 more times.
D, please. Right, we've got to change the subject. I'm going to hang around for another hour, but flat Earth's on the table, not race.
Okay, so I got a question. Australia, why can't they see the North Star again?
They've passed the equator. The minimum elevation to Polaris is the equator. Once you go past it, you can't see Polaris anymore.
Even more succinctly, you're too far away.
Same reason why you can't see the Empire State Building from Florida, Dan.
You had to ruin it by saying too far away. You don't know that. Yes, you can correlate the behavior of the stars as they recede towards the horizon with perspective, but you can't say too far away. You're just going to get me all over you like a rash when you don't need it, man. You don't need it.
So how do Australian ship drivers, how do they can't look for the North Star, or what do they look for?
Any of the other navigation stars. There's a lot of navigation stars in the south beyond the equator. You can still navigate. You can infer a pole star that doesn't exist. Well, there's ambiguity. I don't want to say that so categorically. I don't care to argue about it because it's inconsequential anyway. But you can derive a similar system that's south-centric. But then wrapping the two antipodal from one another is figuratively and literally what you get to give you a celestial sphere when you map out the angles to the stars for both north and south. But does that mean that they both coexist at the same time? No, you can't be in two places at the same time. So to sandwich them antipodal, again, doesn't alter that they're both representing flat plane measurements, just one on top of the other, north and south. It doesn't mean that suddenly you go past the equator and because you can't see Polaris anymore, you don't have navigation stars. You do. Now, at certain points you didn't, but we expanded the territory flat with angles to stars that we mapped and charted as we expanded the territories. Now, eventually, we landed on creating that into an entirety of a system now known as the globe and celestial sphere. But both have been derived from angles. And if you put one North Pole centric, one South Pole centric, both flat on top of each other, you can create a system known as the celestial sphere. It's just a reification to believe that that's how the world actually functions. When you create a model from angles that you've been making practical use of to find your way around and expand the territory.
It doesn't equally equate to that, but yeah.
You better stop saying that model stuff. I told you about that before.
You don't like me saying celestial
like
sphere model? Hold on, I'm getting told off. I'm getting checked now.
You didn't hear me and him go back and forth the other day?
It's Discord. It is Discord.
Hold on, John. You can tell me off later.
When I said you're too far away, why is it erroneous?
How far are the stars?
I don't think that's a problem.
How far are they then, John? Or
I don't know, but
how do you know they're too far? How do you know they're
I don't know, but it follows that, just like Debro said, I mean, it's almost the same. Like, it was a good analogy that you can't see the Empire State Building from, 20 miles away.
No, it's not
The
fair.
same concept.
Well, no, because we're not looking at the Empire State Building. We're looking at something that would be, by equivalent, a light that hovers in mid-air at the top of most point of the Empire State Building.
It's the same concept. It doesn't matter.
I know I did disclaim that. I said, while it is correlatable with perspective, all I'm saying is, when you say too far, you've immediately pegged it with a distance that you don't know, and there's no need.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, that's not necessarily true.
Okay, well, justify it to me.
When I say the proposition, you're too far away to see any given object, that doesn't necessarily entail that I know the quantity of any distance between me and the object.
I agree. Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, let me just justify my position then. We know with a little bit of I'm just going to add a couple of weasel words to justify my position. Just bear with me. Just chill out, whoever's off mute in G+. Right. The GP position is how and where when it comes to knowing how far something is. So adding a couple of weasel words to, well, I know the position below that star is too far away for me to see, it in my mind stops making sense because it isn't what you're looking at. You're not looking at the GP position of the star, you're looking at the star. So again, it seems malformed to introduce a distance to the thing you're actually looking at when you don't know that.
Did. Nobody did. No one made a distance. They just said too far. Fine.
What does far mean? I'm not being facetious.
Oh, brother.
Not being facetious.
Okay, let's use an airplane.
No.
Right? You see an airplane go across the sky. Stop. See an airplane go across the sky. It comes to a point where you can't see it anymore. It's too far away. I don't need to know the exact distance to know that it's too far away for me to see it. Got it?
Yeah, I can
Let's
validate
move on.
that. But I don't want to. I will, just because you're asking and getting irritated as I am. I will not. I don't want to yield on this point, and I'm not going to. Sorry.
You're going to go down with a ship on it then.
What does far mean? I'm looking it up as we speak.
Oh, brother.
Invincible ignorance.
Halfway through your sister's house.
Check out this. Oh, I knew my outrage was justified. Far
means very over there.
Hold on. To, at, or by a great distance.
Yeah.
So when you say too far, you say it doesn't infer distance. By definition, it absolutely...
No. I didn't say that, you crayon muncher. I never said that. I said you don't have to know this.
Gregory, no worries. You're on your own. QE just out.
Don't fucking rumpus me. I said you don't have to know the specific, specific distance. Got it?
You didn't say... Okay.
The percussion of the dictionary.
Gregory, would you agree that that's all he's refined my point for me? Because you didn't say specific distance, you just said too far. That's where I've jumped in. Now, I might still be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right.
Well, that's why I concur with QE on this. When I say the proposition, any given object is too far to be seen, whether it be the star or the Empire State Building or the letters on the wall in the doctor's office, whatever, what have you, that doesn't necessarily entail that I'm presupposing or that I know the quantified distance between my eyes and the object I'm trying to detect.
Fair enough.
So we can prove that the stars obey perspective, is what you guys are saying, huh?
They correlate with what we would describe as a perspective effect, with things that we can physically validate them doing that. But when I don't know what the stars are, I struggle to say that because I don't know it's the case. But correlation, I'm happy with.
Everything obeys. I don't like the word perspective. And you don't need to know what the star's made of. Who started that dumb shit?
I didn't say that. But
I did.
As you rise in altitude, things lower with respect to how you rise. And your distance will affect the amount that it changes, but it will change. Do the stars do that?
Yes.
Yeah, distance is a factor in the visibility or
With elevation,
invisibility
with
when trying to visually
elevation, do the
detect something.
stars change their angle?
No.
Be careful.
No.
Be
No,
careful.
they don't.
Be
No, they don't.
careful. Be careful, because you would have to know the medium. See, you're conflating terrestrial observations with celestial ones. So in order
No,
for
that's a
you to
smaller
confirm,
deck.
I'm not done yet. In order for you to confirm that, you would have to know the medium in between you and that celestial object to make a fair comparison.
Well, I don't have to do that. It's
Yeah,
not my
you would.
claim. It's not my claim. I point out that the angle doesn't change, which seems to violate the laws of perspective.
Yep. Done.
That's why you make a distinction between terrestrial and celestial in your own statement.
Precisely. There's
No,
caveats
it's
needed.
on. Don't pull that shit with me.
Why not?
You have to do it. Not me, you.
No.
That's stupid.
Why do I have to do it?
Because you made the claim.
That the angle doesn't change.
Yeah, you falsely compared it. Well, on terrestrial, well, you didn't say that, but on Earth, when we rise up, it does change. Right?
Yeah.
Like with any other object? Yes?
Yeah. With the Empire State Building, you can recede it into the horizon and get it to disappear through an angular limitation versus the deck. Too small an angle, therefore can't see it. They can then rise up, increase the angle with respect to the deck, and bring that item back into view where it formerly wasn't with altitude, increasing angle. You can't do that with a star.
You know why?
It doesn't matter why, it just means it's not perspective, and I take umbrage when someone says distance in regards to that, because of their suggestion that it is perspective, and it can be correlated, and I'm perfectly happy to accept that, but for the fact that I don't know what the stars are, and there are certain attributes of how they behave that don't comport with how things do behave with perspective, terrestrial or celestial or otherwise.
What would what it's made of have to do anything with the topic? Nothing.
It just means I don't know how it should or would behave either way, physical or not physical, or just don't know enough about it to ascribe something that is a concept we've come up with for how things behave in terrestrial manner when we look at buildings and such like in the distance.
But right. I don't know why we're talking about what it's made of.
Yeah.
We're just talking about angular limitations and how things appear to us. Right?
You know why the angle doesn't change?
Go on, you asked that before, why not?
Go ahead. I'll call it non sequitur again.
Because it's not. Because the Earth's flat. Think about it.
It's a non sequitur.
Not non sequitur.
I don't see how that follows.
How's it non sequitur? It doesn't follow. How does it not follow?
Because of something is what it is.
Because of something is what it is. That's good.
Yeah, it's just non sequitur. You formulated a non sequitur.
I didn't formulate a non sequitur. Your answer was dumb fuck.
No, stop swearing.
Oh shit!
Oh,
The
hello.
Earth's flat.
That's right, Red
Oh my
Eagle. That's how
God.
it's measured.
In
That's how it's measured, Red Eagle. That's correct. Hold on 1 second.
questions on my transmission debunked what I said. It would have been just as relevant.
Okay, guys. Yes, that's how
Was
Earth's
there
measured.
another point of critique, Nathan, that I missed besides the erroneous critique that my proposition necessarily entails that I knew the quantified distance between me and the object?
No other critique.
Is there
Just
a second one? I think I missed
just
it.
my erroneous interjection. Thank you for being so polite.
Well, why be rude?
Confirmed.
I like smart people when they're being rude to you. It does amuse me. Because they do it so politely, you almost don't notice. It was erroneous. I'll happily concede that. But I also justified my objections, I hope. you know, why I would interject with that, erroneous or otherwise.
No, you're just stuck on Nathan. You're just stuck on Nathan agenda, trying to jump on people that say too far. It was a category error on your part.
No. I stand by why
I'll see you later.
I stand by it. I still would
All right.
justify it that way if someone had me up against a wall, going, why wouldn't you say it's too far? I'm like, well, because I know the GP distance when I measure the angle, but if I can't see it, I can't then suggest that something I can't see is too far, because that would infer that there's a distance. You've pointed out that, well, just by using that linguistically doesn't automatically suggest I do know a distance, therefore you're not right to object in that manner. And I've gone, okay, fair enough. That's it. End of.
Would you agree that there is a correlation that is effective upon visually detecting the object, the star, or whatever else, or not when you increase or decrease the distance between you and the object?
Not necessarily, because if you suggest that, then again you're back to, if you were to raise an elevation with respect to the Empire State Building, you're definitely increasing your distance to the top of that point, aren't you? As you go up, you're increasing the length of the hypotenuse. Not true with stars.
Would the hypotenuse, well, I'm thinking it.
You'd make the angle wider.
Make the length longer. As you raise away from a point, let's forget that it's at altitude, any point on the ground, as you raise in altitude, you're going to increase your distance from it, aren't you?
As you raise?
Yeah, if you go up in height, yeah, let's say you're level, just for the sake of this argument, right? You're forming a triangle with the Empire State Building, yeah? And you're, in terms of your distance to it is irrelevant for my example, but you're level with it, with the very top of it. As you then raise in altitude, your distance to the top of the Empire State Building will increase as you raise in altitude, won't it?
Yes, correct.
Right.
I thought you were. I was getting confused between.
Right. Well, that's not the end of the example. Well, that is not true.
Well, I'm good with it now.
Right, but it's not true for stars, is it?
How do you know?
Well, the distance to the GP below
That it
the
wouldn't
star
happen?
will definitely increase as you raise in altitude, as we just established.
I got to get some breakfast first.
You don't like it, I know.
No. I got to get some breakfast.
Fair enough.
I see where you're headed with it, but I can't think right yet.
No, fair enough.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. The point you just articulated is that concerning the star, whatever given star, if you increase your altitude, then you would increase the distance of the hypotenuse.
Yeah.
Did I get that wrong?
Increase the distance of the hypotenuse.
Just the distance between
the
you
length of the
up in
hypotenuse is
air.
kind of awkward to say distance of the.
Now I'm trying to think about that. I don't know. What's the question? Let's get back to a firm claim. What's the claim?
My claim is that you can definitely infer that as you raise in altitude, the point between you and the point in the distance that we're looking at, with my example being the Empire State Building, that distance is without doubt increasing as you raise in altitude. Whereas with the stars, nothing's changing at all, is it?
No, because the Earth's flat.
Yeah, you said that last time, but I'm just saying that there's a distinction between the two effects that you're observing. One with an item that we can definitely say is you're getting further away from it, even though you're getting further away from it on an angle. Or you could say that the angle from the point that you're looking at is widening as it looks at you. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
But that doesn't occur with the stars. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, because the Earth's flat. Because as you rise, so will that horizon. Now, it may not come to eye level. It's irrelevant anyway, but that's why. You guys aren't getting this, are you? Where's Brian at?
I've only got an issue with it being directly called something we have ascribed with the word perspective to the physical effects we observe with things like buildings. That's where I just shift uncomfortably. Now, I'm being put on the spot like I need to have a claim made perhaps attached to it, and I don't. I'm just saying it's back to when, well, this is obviously a flat earth proof. Why don't you accept it? As I shift uncomfortably. Well, because I don't like it for these reasons. Well, it doesn't change that it's true. No, it doesn't change that it's true. It's just those are my objections. I'm just not going to lie to you. I could just fob you off. But I'm just going to lay down why I shift uncomfortably when someone says something like the star's too far. I shouldn't suddenly find myself shifting uncomfortably, and I'm just telling you why.
Jumping back and forth between topics. It's aggravating.
Thanks. Is that it, Gregory? I'm sure there was an underlying point that we've completely sabotaged.
Yep.
Well, if there was an underlying point that we've completely sabotaged, Gregory, I'm really sorry. I'm going to round out my after show on that note. So with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a member, and all that good stuff. Did I thank Discord? Politics, thank you for having me. You've been epic, as always, on a Friday. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.